Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. I don't know why I'm excited. I'm excited because I had a whole snow day yesterday, and next week I'm doing some things other than work. I'm excited. Anyway, I hope everybody is having a very blessed day today. It's still Black History Month. This is our last installment of Between Me and the World by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This is our shortest segment. And there's a part of me that was like, oh, I need to add some more. I need to add some more. And I started adding some more, and then I was ear hustling on a bunch of YouTube channels all morning, and I ended up with like 100 slides, and I was like, girl, let that go. So I had to let that go. But I am still going to do it. I'm just going to do it as a pre-recorded video that I will very likely upload. I might do it tomorrow. I might do it Monday. And then that will be my last contribution to my Black history on my channel. So I would like to thank everybody for being here. If you are not a subscriber, I humbly ask that you subscribe. I am on the road to 500. My goal is to get to 500 by the time I turn 50. Yeah, I want to get to 500 by the time I turn 50. So that's in June. It's not impossible. Anything is possible. So universe, 500 by 50 or more. I'll take more for sure. All right, let me get into my chat and see who are girl. Get your grammar right. Who is here? This is me acknowledging you guys. I love the saying good morning sunshines. That is when I am at my prime and my peak, extremely early in the morning until about 6 or 7 o'clock. After that, I just start shutting down. It's just how my world functions. So good morning sunshines. This is our last installment of Between the World and Me. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe, like, and share, and tell all your friends. Tell all your friends. Thank you. All right, please subscribe to one of my besties in the world, Foxy and Fam. Foxy, it was a little dry this morning when I first got on the tube. And so I was like, wait, let me make sure I got all my videos in from Foxy because you don't go live. So I'm like, okay, let me make sure I got all the uploads. Where I don't have any current inspiration. I saw the last one about words. It's like 2 weeks ago. Where we at? What we doing? Foxy. We need some fresh content. We need some fresh motivation. You know, you are the happy place for people like me. I'm just saying. Where is that? We need that joy, that extra dose of joy. We need you, boo. We need you. Please subscribe to my big CS Saki Speaks. I am Dr. Saki. We what? Saki. Dr. Saki. Calling Dr. Saki. Where's our FS dose of the day? It's 12 p.m. and we're getting jittery. Thank you very much. Okay, next. Please subscribe to I See You Are a Family. Thank you and very much. I be seeing the watches on the bling of the bling. I saw that Beavis and Butthead one. I was like, no ma'am. But it was nice. I like Invicta watches too. Subscribe to my girl Bikini. My girl Bikini had her video on this morning, very early. I don't do them. I just watch them. And then they motivate me to go get my body moving. And I was trying to go get my body moving before I came live today at 12 o'clock. But then I got caught up with trying to add and do too much. And so there we are with that. And then subscribe to, listen, my girl Evo with the trucking and the ASMR of it all. And now we are doing, we got the panel and the live conversations. You go, Evo. I had to leave a little early today. We was in the truck was getting the truck washed. I've never seen a big rig get washed, so I missed out on the end of that, but I can go back and rewind. If you guys have not subscribed to Evo and you are here for the beautiful views and the ASMR of life of a trucker, you should join my girl's Evil's channel. Hey, Foxy, thank you for being here. I know you at work out here sneaking. Get your little Black History Month in. Well, hello, Andrea. I hear Saki say this all the time. Is it Andrea or Andrea or Andrea? I don't know. Can you spell it how I'm supposed to say it? Because I have a thing as a teacher. I really try really hard to say people's names properly. That's really important to me. And my name is a little swagger jacked. And so people mess it up all the time. So I know that that's important. But thank you for being here, boo. I appreciate you. Andrea's giving love. And Foxy is giving it back. Hey, BJ Diz. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Hey, Big Cs. Hey. What? Oh, this that $5. I didn't know what that was for little. Yes, y'all. Do the 5, do the 5, do the 5. Please make sure you like the video on your way in. And thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Andrea's giving love. BJ Diaz is giving love back. Andrea, did you tell me how to say it? Andrea. I got it. I see it. Yes. On that. And listen, Andrea, that's exactly how I do. When my kids tell me how to say their names properly on the attendance sheet, I have to phonetically spell it the way that I need to see it so that I make sure I say it right every time I see them. So thank you. I appreciate that. Saki. Hey, big sis. It's Andrea. Or Andrea. I see the 2 E's. Andrea? That's tricky. Andrea or Andrea? What you say? What say you? Or Andre. It's Dre. Okay, I got you. Andrea. Yes. I'm right. I'm taking notes. I'm sorry. It's a habit. All right, Andrea. Yes. Everyone in the chat. I see y'all. I'm everyone all at the same time. Because she's trying to get her FS dose together over there. So she's multitasking. Thank you, big sis. All right, you guys. So this is a short one today. I don't want to keep you guys here forever. I know the YouTube streets are hot. Child. I be clicking on videos and I be listening in. I be like, ooh, y'all. Ooh, do better. I thought we was all we not grown-ups no more. We are like at the playground. We in the sandbox and we don't know how to play with each other on YouTube. Listen. Okay, anyway, let me start. I'm starting. All right, so this is part 3. This is the last part of Ta-Nehisi's letter to his son. If you missed parts 1 and 2, they are on my channel. Part 1 is just the introduction. It introduces you to Ta-Nehisi, his son, and it talks about some of his relationships that he's had in the past, and then this relationship that he has with his wife, and this sense of urgency that he needs to give his son some wisdom and knowledge about being a Black man in America, or turning into or growing into this Black man in America. Last week, we heard about the murder of one of his best friends from college. He went to Howard University. One of his best friends, Prince, was murdered by the police, and it made him feel a kind of way. It made him reflect, and he thought about 9/11 and how, he didn't really have a heart for what happened to those people for 9/11. He also talked about protesters. Peaceful protesters, and his not disdain, I would say, for peaceful protesters, but like, why be peaceful? That was his initial thinking. And one of the things I like about his book is that you get to see how his thought process evolves, how it changes, and that's real. Let's bring that on home. I feel you, spirits. I feel the ancestors trying to tell me to tell y'all some things. Listen, YouTubers. It's okay if your thought process changes. It's okay if you mature and grow out of certain spaces that no longer feed you. Please be mindful of who you tune into and the content that is coming through your screen. It's real. And the universe hears and sees all of that. You are ingesting all of those things. If somebody has ill intentions towards other people, that energy is coming into you too. It's okay to elevate and grow up and grow out of certain spaces that no longer feed you. It's okay. I've been there with y'all, child. I'll be watching some stuff. I'll be like, girl, you can't watch this no more. You too grown for this. Sometimes I'm not, though, because sometimes I'm still petty, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I am. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so you guys know that this, for me, other than Black History Month, this has been a Little dedication to my boogaloo. He been through some things in life, and I just want him to one day see all of this on YouTube and be like, oh, because he ain't paying no attention to me right now. He gonna be like, oh, I didn't know my mother dedicated something to me on YouTube. I did, boogaloo. I did. All right, so let's get into it. So I wanted to talk about Black History Month in general before I got into the book. So Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing their central role in U.S. history. Also known as African American History Month, the event grew out of Negro History Week, the brainchild of noted historian Carter G. Woodson and other prominent African Americans. Since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. Other countries around the world, including Canada and the UK, also devote a month to celebrating Black history. Just a side note, Black history here is American history, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. The story of Black History Month begins in 1915. It begins earlier than that, though, because, we were brought upon these shores in 1619. But that's a whole nother lesson for when I do my pre-recorded video. But okay. It begins in 1915, a half century after the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States. That September, the Harvard-trained historian Carter G. Woodson and the prominent minister Jesse E. Moreland founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, ASNLH, an organization dedicated to researching and promoting achievements by Black Americans and other peoples of African descent. President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1976, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. Today, Black History Month is a time to honor the contributions and legacy of African Americans across U.S. history and society, from activists and civil rights pioneers such as Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Marcus Garvey, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and more, who I will definitely touch on when I do my pre-recorded video, to leaders in industry, politics, science, culture, and more. Since 1976, every American president has did I go backwards or forwards? Oh, no, that's right. Since 1976, every American president has designated February as Black History Month and endorsed a specific theme. The Black History Month 2022 theme, Black Health and Wellness, explores the legacy of not only Black scholars and medical practitioners in Western medicine, but also other ways of knowing, for example, birth workers, doulas, midwives, neuropaths, herbalists, etc., throughout the African diaspora. The 2022 theme considers activities, rituals, and initiatives that Black communities have done to be well. Okay, I need a little sip. Are you guys having something to drink on this drinking journal? You already know I'm drinking water. I don't know how people go live and drink coffee because my coffee would be cold. I would probably need a microwave near me to heat it up or something because I can't drink cold coffee. I'm not a cold coffee type of girl. But okay. All right, so this is part 3 of the book. This is the last section. Remember, our book was written in 2015. Here's a little copy of the book, if you don't have one, Between the World and Me. All right, in part 3, Coates visits Prince Jones' mother, Dr. Mabel Jones. He is amazed by her composure and compares it to the steady determination of his grandmother and the protesters at sit-ins in the 1960s. Dr. Jones speaks about her own history and tells Coates more about Prince. After leaving, Coates sits in his car and rethinks his views of nonviolent protesters. He used to think they were shameful not to fight for themselves, but he now believes they may have known that there was never any security to fight for in the first place. He reflects on attending Howard University's homecoming and the sense of Black power he felt within that group of people. His parting message to his son is to remind Samori to engage fully in the struggle of his life as a Black person, but to know he is not responsible for converting white people to the struggle. Coates is confident that while America will continue to plunder not only Black bodies, but the environment too, the text thus begins and ends discussing the white assault against the Black body. Foxy, you got a water jug at your desk? You have to go to the bathroom all day. That's one of the benefits of working from home. When you're drinking a whole lot of water, you get to run to the restroom when you need to. All right. Excuse me. All right. And this is the summary of part 3. In the final part of his letter, Coates visits Prince Jones' mother, Dr. Mabel Jones. Dr. Jones was born into poverty in Louisiana, the same place her ancestors had been enslaved. At 4 years old, she recognized the same disparity between herself and the rest of the world, which Coates has explained in his letter. Coates briefly wonders whether Samori first senses the gap after the Michael Brown shooting. Coates describes Dr. Jones as a reserved, polite woman with impeccable composure. He can see an ironclad determination in her eyes, which reminds him of his own grandmother. Even when talking about Prince's death, her eyes well, but tears do not fall. He likens her to photos of Black resistors in 1960 sit-in. Their eyes remain fixed on the horizon, as if they are summoning some greater power to remain stoic. Dr. Jones speaks about her church, a main source of her strength. Coates wonders whether he has missed out on something by not believing in God. I'm sorry, y'all, I had to write notes because even as I'm presenting this, I'm getting ideas for the pre-recorded video that I didn't have in there. And this is why I had to take it out of here because it wouldn't stop coming at me. And it was just overwhelming all day today. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, next up. Dr. Jones speaks of Prince, whom she calls Rocky after his grandfather. Prince was smart and made friends easily, even as he went to private schools with dreamers. He was the only Black student at his magnet school in Texas. Dr. Jones gave him and his sister all the things she didn't have, including vacations and cars. But Prince always loved traveling over material things. Dr. Jones wanted him to attend an Ivy League school, but he only applied to Howard. He wanted to feel normal, but he only applied to Howard. He wanted to feel normal, not be used as a symbol or diversity parable. Dr. Jones describes Prince's death as being physically painful. She says she expected that the police officer who killed him would be charged. Prince's sister is currently pregnant with a son, which scares Dr. Jones. She knows that nothing can protect his body because one racist act is all it takes to destroy a Black man. After going back to his car, Coates thinks about how much Prince's family invested in Prince, only for it to disappear with his death. He remembers the photos from the Civil Rights era where Black people allowed themselves to be tortured. He used to think it was shameful, but now thinks it is simply true. He says that perhaps the hope of the movement is to awaken the dreamers so that they realize what they have done to the world. Coates describes going to homecoming at Howard. He again sees the wide diaspora of Black bodies. Coates feels as if he melts into them and no longer has the birthmark of damnation. He describes it as a joyous moment of Black power beyond the dream. Coates' final pages for Samori are about Black power and the conversion of dreamers. Coates feels the power in that joyous moment at Howard and believes it is what drew Prince Jones to that university. Black power is the view of America that comes from struggle and invites an understanding of the country as it truly is. It is also a deep understanding of how fragile bodies and the dream are. Even the dreamers can feel Black power because to feel their deepest emotions, they turn to music by Black artists. Dr. Jones predicts national doom, and Malcolm X said that the dreamers must reap what they sow. But Coates believes this is too simplistic and that Black people will reap it with them. Just like the dreamers have plundered Black bodies, they also plunder the physical earth and likely will not stop until the earth stops them. Lastly, Coates urges Samori to struggle with all his questions, but he doesn't want him to struggle for the dreamers, only to hope or pray. They will have to learn to struggle themselves, to understand that their plunder of Black bodies and the earth is the deathbed for everyone. The letter ends with Coates driving through the ghettos, feeling his old familiar fear. Okay, this is the analysis and the very end, which is, we're almost done. So the analysis of part 3. Coates' visit to Prince's mother, Dr. Jones, is both revealing and tragic. He wants to know how she has kept on living in the wake of losing her only son to senseless violence. This interest in her individuality mirrors the way he thinks of the slaves as complete people to be valued separately from one another. The world seems to have forgotten Prince Jones and his family, but Prince is always on Coates' mind, so he also thinks a lot about Prince's family. Coates' background in journalism certainly helps to give him the courage to call, visit, and interview Dr. Jones, despite having never met her. Coates and Dr. Jones relate to one another right away through their shared observance of the gap between Black and white people. Coates first noticed it on TV, and she first noticed it at 4 years old. This gap is what propelled Dr. Jones to commit to becoming a doctor. Dr. Jones seems to have a special trait of being so excellent that people cannot help but like or at least support her. In 4 years of high school, she went from a girl who was bullied for her color to being elected class president, the highest esteem her classmates could give her. Dr. Jones represents the epitome of being twice as good. Child, I grew up with that. You had to be twice as good to get half as much. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As Black parents tell their children they must be to succeed. By doing everything to the absolute best of her ability, she achieved a medical scholarship in the same state where her ancestors were enslaved. But when Coates asks Dr. Jones if it bothers her that she is the only Black doctor she knows, she seems insulted. This demonstrates how Dr. Jones has learned to rise above the twice as good mantra. By refusing to accept the strangeness of her position, she attempts to normalize the ideal of a Black female radiologist. Foxy says we all did. Yeah, we grew up being told that. I was told a lot of things, especially when I entered corporate America. Child, I couldn't have earrings in my ear. I wasn't supposed to have a nose piercing. We didn't do braids in the office. Like, it was so much. I think that's why I hated the business world when I was in it. I just didn't fit. It just, like, it was a forced fit. It was the strangest place to have people tell you who you were and who you could be publicly. Yeah. I believe that still happens though. All right. In his way, Prince also refused to give power to the racial divide. Dr. Jones wanted him to go to an Ivy League school because he was a top student, but he only applied to Howard, a historically black university. In the wake of the civil rights movement, America has tried to right the wrong of slavery by accepting more black students into colleges and universities. This creates a situation that turns black students into symbols of pride for the schools. In a backwards way, this monetizes the black body yet again because schools use diversity as a marketing strategy. Facts. Prince just wanted to feel normal, and that is why he went to Howard, where he was one black body amongst many. Coates' visit to Dr. Jones is revealing because it explains how hard Dr. Jones had worked to get out of poverty and then give her family such a good life. But the tragic reality is that all this hard work and privilege wasn't enough to keep Prince from getting killed for no reason at all. Dr. Jones still lives in fear for her new grandson, whom nobody will really be able to protect. The last pages of the letter portray the complex mix of emotions Coates experiences as a black man in America. Coates revisits his thoughts about nonviolent protesters, whom he used to shame for giving up their bodies so easily. When he says he wonders if the photos are just true, he doesn't only mean that they just show what happened. He wonders instead whether the protesters knew something he doesn't. What if sanctity and security of the body never existed in the first place? The photos may have simply portrayed the world as the terrible place that it is. Coates recalls a happy moment of reveling in the black power of the Howard reunion. His eloquent description of what black power really means, an experience of great struggle that leads to great understanding, reiterates to Samori that life is truly found in the struggle. The ending warning that white plunder will kill the earth and its people seems to speak directly to the reader, who Coates is aware many will be white. The letter ends as it started, with fear representing the ever-present cycle of violence that has been pushed on black people in America for centuries. And with that, that is the conclusion of Between the World and Me. I will be back. I might be back later today with a pre-recorded, or maybe tomorrow or Monday with a pre-recorded video that I am going to put together about a Black history timeline, about things that they don't really teach in schools. I had an experience this week where I taught my sixth graders. This is my first year teaching sixth graders. And I was teaching all of my grades about the Tulsa Race Massacre. When I grew up, it was called the Tulsa Race Riot. I learned with my students why they changed it to a riot when it was originally a massacre, which is what they're calling it now. It'll be 101 years this year. Because if you were a part of a riot in 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, your insurance wouldn't pay out. But if you were a part of a massacre and you were affected, the insurance companies would have had to pay you. So there's so much more that I want to have a discussion with you guys about. So I will definitely repackage that and put it in a different space on my channel soon. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening to me and, tuning into one of the books that I absolutely love. All of the links and probably some ones that I didn't talk about today are in the description. There is a link to the actual book. Yeah, BJ Dance, you didn't know that? More is coming out about the Tulsa Race Massacre since the 100 years last year. So the 100 years last year, and they never really taught even the kids in Tulsa about what happened. They were really, really quiet. The people, our ancestors that were affected by it, were traumatized. Yeah, they were traumatized. And so they really didn't talk about it. There were over 200 Black businesses on Black Wall Street. Today, there are about 26. And gentrification has changed Black Wall Street area, along with the freeway that was run through there, from the majority of the Black community that it was, Black Wall Street, back in 1921. They've pushed those Black people up north into other neighborhoods that don't get the funding that Black Wall Street gets right now because it's Black Wall Street. Like, literally, they are pouring money into the community in Tulsa that Black people won't be able to benefit from. We're not even going to talk about the legacy, like the generational wealth that was just shut down, that those people will never be able to participate in. Yeah. So I'm going to repackage all of that and I'm going to put it in a video for y'all. So thank you guys for being here. I will see you soon. See you later. And I love you. And I thank you for being here. And I hope you learned a little something new today. And I will see you soon.